شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان.
It's okay for me. So number one, هدى للناس, that is addressing our Eid. Everybody who has the Eid within his soul, the Quran is هدى للناس, whether you are a Muslim or not. Not only هدى للمتقين, it addresses your Eid. Then وبينات من الهدى, it gives you explanations, logically, rational. So it addresses what? Your ego. It will give you the guidance and give you the methodology and the principles within the guidance to guide your rational and logical what? Mind, which is what? The ego. Then wal furqan then it also addresses the super ego. It gives you conscience too as well. So if you read the Quran very well in accordance to the way Allah Azza wa Jal said you should read the Quran in accordance to the Sunnah, you are supposed to get all these things within this particular Ramadan. At the end of the Ramadan, if you want to know whether you have succeeded or not, how many of the virtues of the people who fear Allah Azza wa Jal enumerated in about 286 places in the Quran, how many of it have you been able to build and nurture? And how many life principles have you been able to extract from the Quran to nourish your system of belief, your internal realm, to feed your heart and feed what? Your soul? And how many of the habit of the people of taqwa enumerated in Quran chapter 2 verse 1 up to 5, Quran chapter 2 verse 177, all these things, Surah Al-Ahzab, Quran chapter 3 verse 35, and then also in Surah Al-Zariyat, plenty of them. Wherever you see innal muttaqin or ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullah, you find a principle over there. How many of them have we been able to nourish? But then if we are within the well, in the pit, we are engrossed in a particular addiction that alhamdulillah with fasting we have been able to weaken it in this month of Ramadan, how do we completely crash it and then we don't go back to it again? Alcoholism and gambling and fornication, they are very, very serious addictive behaviors that if we fall into it, coming out of it is very difficult. But not only one person, communities and people are falling into it, and alhamdulillah with the methods enshrined in the Quran, our Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam was able to guide the believers and remove them out of this particular addictive behavior. Number one verse concerning alcoholism, 4 verses concerning alcoholism came in the Quran, and from the first verse, those people who taught into details, like Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu sat down and cried after the first verse and prayed to Allah Azza wa Jal, went to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma bayyin lana fil hamr bayanan shafiya, oh my Lord, explain to us this particular alcohol, whether it is good or is bad. We need you to explain to us, a detailed explanation for us, because these verses, from the first verse, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu realized that look, this particular alcohol, we need to forbid it, and then pleaded with our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, alcoholism should be forbidden. So Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu sat down, Surah An-Nahl, the verse that came over there, وَمِن ثَمَرَاتِ النَّخِيلِ
وَمِن ثَمَرَاتِ النَّخِيلِ وَالْأَعْنَابِ تَتَّخِذُونَ مِنْهُ سَكَرًا وَرِزْقًا حَسَنًا إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. So Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَمِن ثَمَرَاتِ النَّخِيلِ وَالْأَعْنَابِ تَتَّخِذُونَ مِنْهُ سَكَرًا وَرِزْقًا حَسَنًا. Just تَتَّخِذُونَ مِنْهُ سَكَرًا وَرِزْقًا حَسَنًا. Logically looking at the verse, and from among the fruit that you get from the palm trees and then also the grapevines that you get the fruit, you can get what? Intoxicants from them, and you can also get good and nice providences from what? Them. Since Allah Azza wa Jal didn't qualify the intoxicants with anything that is good and qualify the providence, the other one, with something that is good, he thinks that there is something wrong with this particular product. And observing these things, of course, when Umar radiallahu anhu and Muaz bin Jabal, when they went to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they said, look, this thing, it takes our money, it takes away our time, it takes away our mind, and for that matter we think it is what? So they had logical conclusion that they went and presented to what? Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when they went and then asked Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this was in Makkah, but when they came to Medina, it wasn't now only Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, Muaz bin Jabal plus so many other companions. They came together and said, look, what do you think about the alcoholism and gambling that we find ourselves now? It doesn't look something that is sound. So they went to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they asked him, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ قُلْ فِيهِمَا إِثْمٌ كَبِيرٌ
ومنافع للناس وإثمهما أكبر من نفعهما ويسألونك ماذا ينفقون قل العفو كذلك يبين الله لكم الآيات لعلكم تتفكرون.
Alhamdulillah, many of you do sociology and you do psychology. Let's look at the question that they asked Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the answer that Allah Azza wa Jal is giving Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to give to them. From the psychological point of view and from the sociological point of view, you can add more explanation to the tafsirs that we have, to the tafsir books. You can add more explanation that will not contradict with whatever our ulamas had already said. They are asking about alcoholism and gambling. These are the two things they came to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to ask. And then Allah Azza wa Jal said that he should tell them, قُلْ فِيهِمَا إِثْمٌ كَبِيرٌ وَمَنَافِعُ لِلنَّاسِ, that in the two things there are harmful effect that is so great. The side effect in them is what? So great. And there is some benefit. Allah Azza wa Jal didn't qualify the benefit, but then qualified the harm